And we are officially live. Thank you and welcome. Thank you for coming. Welcome to the webinar with Bill and Linda Hamaker. So this beautiful lady here is called Raquel Gendry. She's happens to be my wife. And so thank you very much for for your donations, which are going 100% through to the Los Angeles Foundation, which is an organization of bilingual Latino clown doctors. So they don't do parties; they go to hospitals, cancer wards, retirement hospices, in places that personally I find extremely traumatic. With that.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. With all my nose.
Yeah. And so thank you, Raquel. Thank you. So we're going to start. My name is Sebastien Gendry. A big thank you to Bill and Linda Hamaker for being willing to share their experience and wisdom. We actually scheduled this webinar a month ago, like many months, 3, 4, 5, 6 months.
January.
In January. So yeah, early on this year. So it's very timely. This is your first time using Zoom, so again, the technology. Before we start and go further, a few words of reminder about this particular technology. If you look at the bottom of your screen, you'll see a little chat icon, and I encourage you to click on it now and just type your name and where you're from. So I'm going to do this. I'm Sebastien. So Sebastien, I live in Los Angeles. And I'm inviting you to do this because if you have any questions as we go through this webinar, please write them there. I will ask them at the end to Bill and Linda. So Bill and Linda, you don't have to look at the chats. I'm going to take care of that. And so a few words of wisdom. We met like 12 years ago, over a decade ago. And so Bill and Linda are one of the few committed laughter professionals in North America and in the world. And there are not many couples working together. We've been extremely motivated and doing a lot of work. They've been laughter ambassadors in laughter yoga since 2009 or 10. I mean, you've been at this for a long time, committed to spreading levity and joy and health on the East Coast of the US. Big thank you for joining us tonight on this topic, the webinar, the laughter and relationships. And on these good words, I invite you all to put your hands forward and go, yeah! Join me in welcoming Bill and Linda Hamaker. Over to you.
All right, thank you. Thank you. So since we're in the middle of a very stressful, anxious time, we figured we'd better start with a couple of laughter exercises to get everybody loose before we start talking too much. So we'll start with just a deep breath laughter. I'm just going to take a deep breath in and laugh it out. And I'll do one more, and Linda will do a couple. So I will do cupped hands laughter. You're going to cup your hands, and you're going to imagine that inside your cupped hands is something really hilarious. So you're going to take a peek. And of course, after people know they ho ho ha 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 ho ho ha ha ha. Okay, Linda, do a couple, then we'll start talking.
Yes, we've done a lot of couple things. We've done couple trainings, so we're just going to tickle each other's back. You can tickle your own back and laugh. Well, I didn't get to say my intro, which was, that our hearts go out to everybody now in these uncertain times. And we just don't know what's going to be. And it's all the more reason for this intentional laughter. And intentional laughter just elevates you to a different place where everything is fine. And if we stay in our mind, we're going to go crazy. It's the mind, that monkey mind, that really gets you. And we're all dealing with things. He's home now all the time. I know that's the least of it, but families are struggling. But our hearts really go out for people who are losing wages, who aren't feeling well. So we want you to stay healthy with laughter. It just keeps you in alignment with who you really are and where you can be light and joy. And even in another dimension, and you're all laughter people, so
sorry, my mistake. So hang on a second. I'm trying to unmute. My apologies. So yes, you were muted for 5 seconds. Apologies. Go ahead.
I was muted. 5 seconds before or 5 seconds after?
5 seconds before.
Oh, 5 seconds before?
Yeah, no, in terms of logistics. So I just, for all of you present, we can all hear. So when you are unmuted, we can all hear what you can hear. So I just muted you all except for you, Linda. So apologies for about 5 seconds you were off. But now you're not.
Okay. I hope not. Okay, so the laughing on purpose, the intentional laughter, that's laughter yoga is so important. We've taken laughter wellness with Sebastien, and that's so very important too. Sebastien's even slept in our guest room. We have a sign there. Sebastien has slept there. We did a wonderful weekend in Massachusetts, and Sebastien also did a one evening event at our church where we have our laughter club. And we met Sebastien when we did our leader training in Chicago, and he gave us this dog that laughs for our anniversary, because that's when we were together actually in 2009, and it's like exactly 11 years. Exactly, because it was this time of year. We live in New England. We live a half hour from Providence, Rhode Island, and a half hour from Boston. We've done, we're on to our 30th leader training. We also have a teacher training in the fall. It's beautiful in this area in the fall. We are master trainers by Dr. Kataria, and we are laughter ambassadors, and we are the only couple in the world who took Dr. Kataria's master training program together. There is one couple in France, but they took it separately. So it's an honor to be with you today and show you some laughter exercises, but also we want to talk about the agenda that we did have back in January, and we want to answer questions too, and how we sustained our laughter club and all that. So let's start with the talk.
Okay.
All right. Yeah.
All right. So kind of the first question is just how do we work together? And basically we're kind of opposite kind of people. So we kind of work together by taking different pieces of what you need to do a laughter movement. And one person, I do like most of the technical stuff and websites and writing. We lead together. So if we do a session, most of the time we'll lead together, but she will do some leading on her own because I work during the day. We do, she does a lot of the social media. She basically provides the enthusiasm and the motivation and the perseverance to the thing. And I provide a lot of the capabilities that lets her do it, because, she would not be able to create a website on her own, for example. So that's,
well, I could if I had to.
so essentially what this has given our marriage is something to work on together. Prior to this, we were married for a number of years, but we always kind of did separate activities. She would do her things while I was where I'd have my focus on my work and so forth. But this gave us an avocation that we could work as a team, as a couple, to work on. And so it changed our marriage quite a bit because of that.
Mhm. Mhm. And as we're getting older, we're finding that laughter yoga is even more important. Such, as where's my glasses laughter? Where are my glasses? Where are the glasses laughter? Oops. We're finding the memory not the same. And I think the laughter is helping the relationship get through this, because Bill is notorious for leaving lights on and forgetting even to turn water off sometimes, et cetera. And I am able, honestly, to laugh at those things. I just feel that this practice is so important, especially in these troubled times, to build your immune system. We are going to start our laughter club on Zoom like everyone else has been doing. We have been told that the passion that we show when we run a laughter session is what sustains the laughter club. Our laughter club is 11 years old, and the average is 5 years throughout the whole world, from what we're told. We also have a laughter club that's 6 years old. So we have two in, like, they're about 40 minutes from each other. And that's a little bit unusual too, but that's the way we wanted it. And we've had a laughter club that dissolved too. So we've had that experience. After 3.5 years, it just dissolved. And we just feel that when we found laughter yoga, it was about 6 years into the marriage. And that's right, 6 years into the marriage. And we were just getting out of the honeymoon stage. So it really then gave us something to have to work together. We don't have children together, so we don't really have that bond. This was a bond for us. Another reason why it probably works. We have never canceled a laughter club. We've always gone there together. And of course, there are times when I didn't feel like laughing or he didn't feel like laughing. And that's when you really have to push yourself to laugh. And again, in these times, we don't feel like laughing, but this is when we need it the most. And that I think the clubs have sustained us. We've gotten many private events through the clubs. If you go on let'slaugh-today.com, you'll see most of the services and companies that we've gone to. You'll see our trainings. let'slaugh-today.com. Let's Laugh Today, because 7 days without laughing makes 1 week. And just to talk more about
So one of the things about working together is that you start to appreciate differences. In other words, if you're kind of working separately, you look at the differences, and that other person is just different. But when you use those differences to be able to accomplish a common goal of working to spread laughter yoga, then you start to appreciate, the things that that she does, and being able to talk to people, whereas I'm a computer guy and I can't talk to people, or she has a kind of a enthusiastic perseverance, whereas I have some of the carry through. So it's just like you get to appreciate the other person because you're working together on a common task. Also, it gives you a chance to kind of laugh at the annoying differences. In other words, if somebody, we still push each other's buttons, just like any other couple, but it gives you a chance to laugh at it, to put a little distance between it. And that's indeed one of the powers of laughter and laughter yoga, is it gives you distance. It gives that skill of being able to step back from the problem and not be totally caught up in it. So that's kind of our talk on the first part of the question of the agenda, let's call it, and the second part is how we keep the laughter going. How do we last for 11 years? And this is going to be a personal thing. What you do is you have to make laughter yoga fit with your life. In other words, it's, we have a particular life, a particular situation, so we can follow the strategies we use to make it work, but you would have to use some different strategies if you have a different situation. So the first thing we can say is that what we did is we developed a relationship with laughter yoga. So laughter yoga wasn't something we did. It was something we were related to. We're related to the other people we meet. We're related to Dr. Kataria when we connect with him. We're related to the idea. So you have to build that relationship with laughter yoga, and you have to want to build a relationship, of course, and that takes time. You kind of have to believe in it, and you have to get rewards from it. So when you do a laughter session and you get the reward of that person who thanks you a lot because they haven't laughed for a long time, that's the benefit you get from it. You get the sense of accomplishment. You get that feel-good sense because you touched somebody. So you're getting rewards while you're doing it, and you're also kind of building up your confidence in the whole idea. It's easy to talk about it in theory and to have some confidence because you experience it in the beginning, but until you actually start to share it, you're not going to get that real confidence that you need to carry on.
Well, to be laughter, and it goes to teach laughter, you have to be laughter and know laughter. And if you could have the camera go around our house, everywhere you look, it's live, love, laugh, or it's laugh often, or it's something like that. We made these up to give to people, which says, you can see that. Yes, no?
Yes, we can see it.
Okay.
If it feels good to laugh to feel good.
So that's what we believe. If it feels good to laugh, then laugh to feel good.
So one of the ways we've survived so long, we just opened opportunities. We haven't marketed to a particular target audience, a particular group of laughers. We haven't marketed to companies or schools or whatever. We have simply run laughter clubs, got a good website, and waited for people to come to us. And you don't get lots and lots of opportunities. You got enough for us. We know that, once a month, twice a month, somebody will call us.
It comes out to once a week between
Sometimes
the
it's once a
senior
week.
centers and the extra things.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's one way. That's our approach. We haven't tried to sell it so much as make ourselves known and aware and out there and wait for people to contact us. If you're trying to make a living doing this, like Sebastien does, that wouldn't work.
No.
But we don't have to make a living.
No.
Another thing you do is to take some patience and build up your resume over time and your recognition over time. As we've done laughter clubs in different cities, we've gotten on the front page of lots of local newspapers, we've gotten contacts from different people, done an occasional video now and then, and so it's just more and more people who hear about laughter yoga would know our name, and if somebody kind of just learns about laughter yoga and do a Google web search in our area, we'll come up near the top of the list and they'll be able to contact us. So it's all in being visible to the public.
And we've given birth to other laughter clubs. That's our vision, to have a laughter club. Hopefully like in India, the way where it's every place, but we have several in different towns that maybe we'd have to drive an hour to. There is one in the next town from where we have ours, and we're very happy about that. So that's kind of our goal, to get more laughter clubs. And when I think what we've done in the past 11 years, it's probably going to take 20 years to really get more going. It's slow going, but Bill's going to be retiring. We'll be able to do more, and so that's our vision. Locally.
So I would say another just important thing for us, at least in our laughter clubs, and it is to have that connection with Dr. Kataria's Worldwide Laughter Movement, to get our name on his website. So if anyone's looking for a club, we'll be listed there. If anyone's looking for a master teacher, listed there. So a lot of our students will come from just being listed on Dr. Kataria's site.
Or people we've met along
you also
the way.
get local
Yeah.
people, but it has been very valuable. So we do recommend that you get that connection, get in Prozone, get on his site. That will help you get occasional, if you're doing teaching in particular, that's very important. In terms of like the evolution of what we've been interested in, you know, when you're doing something for 11 years, you don't like do the same thing over and over again, or rather at least you don't focus on the same thing over and over again. When we started in the very beginning, we were kind of working on our laughter yoga leading skills, inventing exercises, and we got our pleasure kind of from doing that, from going in, oh, think of 3 new exercises we can do with this meeting, and we can do the meeting better. And that lasted for a couple of years before we kind of just got comfortable doing that, and it faded into the background. And then we started focusing more on spreading laughter in multiple areas. Different, you know, we started out with just one club, and then we started branching out and trying to put clubs in other cities. So that kind of was our focus for a while, just trying to get laughter yoga in different cities, because New England is kind of special where all the towns and cities are small. You know, it's not like a Los Angeles where you can have a lot of people in one area. Basically, you know, people kind of don't go from town to town, even though it's only a 15-minute drive to the next town. You know, just we're very, very local in that sense. So you have to, that's why we put clubs in a lot of different towns rather than hoping they would drive to our town. After that, we kind of started to focus more on outside of clubs, which is, say, some companies, senior living homes. So we paid more attention to just doing how many different kinds of opportunities we could have. When can we get into a hospital? When can we get into a senior living home? You know, and those are the, you know, that's when we started to make a little more money outside of teaching, which would be not senior centers, but assisted living homes, or, you know, company picnic days at a company and so forth. So that's kind of where the money is outside of speaking or conferences. But most of the money for us comes from teaching, basically. And that was really kind of our next phase, as we kind of really focused on getting teaching into kind of a routine. You know, the first couple of teaching exercises, we experimented with different things and got more and more things, and you know, have to do it 30 times. Now we kind of have a set pattern, and each pattern develops differently just because the participants are different. But it's very much, it's not a lot of work now to do a leader training, and it's still very interesting because it changes so much based on who happens to join into the leader training.
And we enjoy it, and people know that we enjoy it. I think that's the key to anything. People know that you believe in it. And one of the things Dr. Kataria says is that you don't leave laughter to chance. You make a commitment from within and you go for it. So it has to be a commitment. And I think that's why we've sustained it this long, because, you know, even if we had just 2 people at a laughter club, we were fine with it. Sebastien taught us that whatever number shows up is the correct number. And I have always told people that. And it's just such a nice way of being. But we've never had fewer than 2, actually, but we've had as many as 40. So we kind of take a bet how many are going to be there when we're driving on our way to the club. I really don't know what we would talk about if we didn't have laughter yoga. It's so much a part of us. Every single day we're talking about it. We're or laughing about something. They'll wake me up, ha 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 ha, in my ear with a laughter clock. It is a way of being, and I think people sense that when they see us run a session or teach a class. And I don't know everyone's background out there, but we're kind of talking about our experience. And we feel that as a couple, it's something that has just enhanced the relationship tremendously. Bill was not a laugher when we first met, and that's the honest truth. He's a computer geek, but he changed once we just were flipping through a catalog and we took something in a Kripalu Center just for a weekend. It wasn't a training, it was a workshop, and we both just fell in love with the whole practice, and it wasn't in our area south of Boston, and we found Sebastien to go to Chicago and become leaders and then become teachers a year later with Dr. Kataria in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and then master trainers with him just recently. So that's our story, and we want to make sure we answered all the things we have to answer here and do some more exercises and get your questions, and I think we're in good shape.
So let me just backtrack and say when I said it wasn't a lot of work to doing a leader training, I meant to do the actual training. Kudos to my wife here. She does a whole lot of work trying to get the students for the training. And that's really the hard part, not doing the, once you've done it a few times, the hard part is just getting the people there.
Following up with everybody, yes.
So she'll spend a lot of hours just, going through old people contacts, putting stuff in newspapers and doing everything else that I don't even know all what she does, but it is a lot of work. And that's why it's not a lot of people do manage to sustain it, because it is a lot of work, and they have their environment, their particular situation has to be such that they can sustain that. She can do that because she doesn't have to make money from it. I can. Yeah. Well, we do make money from it, but she doesn't have to.
Well, anything is easier if you have two heads than one. Put two heads together than just one head, and we complement each other. So I have attributes that he doesn't have, and vice versa. And, he's really good at other things that help the business.
Right. So one of the things in the agenda had to do with talking about what skills do you need to succeed at spreading laughter. Yeah. So I kind of made a quick list. First, you need the basic skill of being able to facilitate a laughter session. And that's something we can teach in our leader training. And that's like the first thing you learn. And there's a lot of other skills we can't teach, really, because there's no time to try to teach it, even if we were qualified to teach them. So the next thing is, as anyone who's tried to run a business will tell you, is marketing. That's like, outside of doing the work, you have to give almost equal share to selling yourself and getting people to buy your product and so forth. So that's a very important skill. Next thing that in this day and age is social sharing, getting into Twitter and Facebook and all those things. And once again, that's Linda's job. I can't handle that stuff. So it's a good thing there are two of us.
Well, I got a lot to learn about all that social media stuff.
Right. And then another skill is getting a website out there. And that's one of my contributions. A friend gave us our first website, and I know enough, not being a website developer, but I know enough to be able to maintain it and add to it over time, so that we have a decent website out there that will get people. Then you just need some creativity. We can both provide that, but generally you can't just do things routinely. You can't just say, okay, this is my plan and I'm going to do it. You have to be creative. You have to adapt to situations. When you do a presentation, you want to be creative too, so people enjoy it. So there is a lot of creativity in laughter yoga, and that's indeed one of the attractions. A lot of us don't have an opportunity to do a lot of creativity in your regular job, your regular life. So this gives you a chance. Another very important thing is just perseverance. If you're going to last for 11 years, there'll be ups and downs, and you have to be able to just keep going. And once again, I would say Linda is the persevering half of our couple here. If I were doing it by myself, I would have quit at the first sign of trouble. Another thing is motivation. Once again, Linda really, because of personal reasons, laughter yoga really affected Linda in terms of personal motivation, whereas for me, it was fun activity. So a fun activity is not going to make you pursue it, with the kind of perseverance you need to make an avocation out of it. But if it really hits a core in you, covers something that you're missing from your life, or helps you to deal with difficulties in your life, then you have a motivation to keep going. So you have to kind of look at yourself if you are going to sustain this, and what is your motivation? What do you get from it? Why are you going to keep going at it if there's no money coming in, or you only get a couple of sessions? And that's once again where it splits off. Who are the people who like it so much, who believe in it so much, they're going to keep going, and who's going to drop out? And of course, most students drop out, but a few carry on. And finally, you just have a certain amount of, have to have skill at communication. That's writing things, editing, checking, talking. And that's because you're out there trying to present it to the world. You have to write material for your website. You have to write material for your press releases. All that stuff is a skill that you have to have. So the thing you have to think about yourself as you're doing this stuff is, given that gamut of skill, what do I know? What can I do? What can I learn? And where do I have to go for help? You don't necessarily have to go for your life partner for help. Maybe there are other people you know who can help and want to work with you. If you have money, you can always pay for help. You know, you can always pay for an accountant and all that stuff. And there are always people out there for a fee who will help you. So that's just something you have to ask what your situation is. Do you have money? Do you not have money? Who do you know? And so that's something you just have to think about. And then anything you want to add to that, dear?
No, go ahead.
Okay. And then the last thing in kind of the agenda was talking about our vision for the future. And our vision is basically trying to get away from that single lone leader who drives things forward. So when, back in 2004 or so, Sebastien was a driving force in the laughter yoga movement. She would fly around lots of different cities, teach 25 or 30 different people a shot, and it introduced a whole lot of people to laughter yoga, and kudos to him for doing that. And then, more locally, we're kind of local leaders, and we do our teaching. So we've maybe trained 200 people to be laughter yoga leaders. We do our clubs, we get in newspaper stories, occasionally on TV. So we're kind of a local point leader. But for the laughter movement to really grow, is you kind of have to get away from that. You have to not have to have that really charismatic leader who does it. And the laughter, you have to have lots of little people joining, creating little laughter clubs and doing little things,
Whether it's laughter wellness or laughter yoga, it doesn't really matter. We just need people. We need people to lighten up about everything that's going on in the world.
And that's what we hope will happen.
And smile more.
Smile more, get it on more TV shows. Just get that general public awareness of laughter yoga, similar to the general public awareness of regular yoga. Now, everybody knows what regular yoga is, even if they don't want to do it. It would really be wonderful if somehow everybody could know what laughter yoga was, even if they didn't.
Yeah, well, we're trying. It's just going to take years. It's going to take decades.
So how about a couple more laughter exercises?
I'll always go for that. Let's show everyone our good qualities. Is it like this or is it like that? How many good qualities do you have? Let's see. Ooh.
Hey, Linda, if you allow me, I see that we have a few couples here. So if you are next to someone, I would suggest you actually look at your partner in the eye and do the exercise that Linda is suggesting. But the eye contact is important, because forget the us, focus on you, right next door. So make eye contact and just go.
And you can hug your partner or hug your friend and laugh.
We got to read our palms in gibberish. So I'll read your palm. You can read your own palm. A lady,
no one cup of tea. No local but tea. Oh, wakapis kitty kapu. No zuka kakishi. No rika the kichiku. And ho.
Our dogs always come over when we talk gibberish. They just
I'm
kind
a
of
dog,
know.
dear.
They just kind of know.
This is our other time spender. This is Chipper.
So gives us lots of pleasure.
And we have a Giggles who's even smaller.
Yes, we got a giggles.
Giggles. Go grab
Just-
Giggles. Right
it's
there.
easier to laugh when you have puppies.
Come here, Giggles.
Oh, she's coming right over. Okay, yeah, she
Go,
comes.
Giggles.
Oh,
Look at the people.
okay. So when we walk in the park and they ask what the name of the dog is, I'd say Giggles. And I get to tell them about laughter. Because they always say, why is our name named Giggles? She's 6 years old, believe it or not, and very smart. And her brother is not so smart.
Well, we've been talking for a long time, so we would like to maybe give some people to ask some questions and see where that might lead us.
Make sure we covered everything. You check up on us. And we'll have Sebastien talk too, because he certainly is a couple that laughs together.
What are your special laughter exercises for the seniors? What are your special laughter exercises for the seniors?
We like to ask the seniors, since they like to talk, they might not get to have someone to talk with if they live alone. So we like to ask them what maybe their favorite ice cream flavor is, and make up a big ice cream cone that's gonna fall over, or ask them what kind of fish they like, and we go fishing for that kind of fish. So we definitely do have them talking and participating, and add, the old time songs, and do songs and ha-has. And we love working with seniors, even dementia and Alzheimer's patients. And
Yes.
we've probably done every population at this point for special events, but I have a regular gig with seniors, and we try not to make sure we exercise them too much, because I've learned that the hard way, where I've really tired out some people. So we just make sure we say that they can sit down and stay seated at any time. We do some improv things. They like that, throwing some clay and making whatever you want out of the clay, and laughing and pretending, pretending, because they probably maybe don't drive anymore. So we pretend that we are driving, or that we're baking, or that we're going on a roller coaster, things that they don't get to do necessarily.
Plus, we like to work with props. So if you can take a colorful prop, like a colored scarf, you can hand them out and they can wave the scarves around, and they enjoy doing that. And we enjoy doing that
We
too,
have a whole
actually.
bin of finger puppets. And
Yeah, thank you very
noodles
much.
we've done things with, but all that stuff is on hold right now. I'm sorry, I didn't hear what.
No, I said thank you very much for your advice. I am a retired surgeon, and I go to the hospitals, senior centers, jails, schools, so many places I go, and laughter yoga has become very, very popular here.
That's great.
Where is here?
I enjoy laughter yoga as a retired.
Where's your city?
This is in Briarcliff Manor, New York State. Westchester County, New York State.
Right.
Uh-huh.
Not that far from us.
That's very
Where
good.
are you
Sometimes
from?
I have a little trouble getting the senior centers to buy in where we are, because
Well, I do it. I do it all my services completely free.
Oh, no wonder.
no wonder
Okay.
that
Well, bless you.
Because I'm retired and I want to enjoy myself, making the people healthy, happy, and energetic.
That's-
Has anyone ever turned you down to do something free?
No, everybody wants them back. They all want it back. They all want my calendar is full. Every day I'm busy, but not with this coronavirus situation, everything is closed down.
No, I know that. I know. I
Yeah.
mean, that's got to come to an end at some point.
Yeah, but before that, my calendar was full, completely full.
So that's a great example of
Thank
spreading
you.
laughter yoga. You know, you're definitely doing your part there to bring awareness of
Especially
laughter
for the
yoga to
cancer
all the people.
patients.
And
Especially
it's
for the
keeping you
cancer.
healthy.
Yeah, that's right. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Don't leave yet. We have 20 minutes. Don't leave. Do not leave.
Any other questions?
Yeah, I also do for the children, for small children.
Oh, what age do you like
They
that?
enjoy it. They enjoy it like anything. Small children, you know, primary school, they enjoy like anything. Especially like nursery rhyme. Nursery rhyme, I ask, Johnny, yes, Papa. Eating sugar, no, Papa. Eating lollipop, no, Papa. Eating chewing gum, no, Papa. Telling lies to your father, no, Papa. Open your mouth.
Yeah, we don't do a lot of kids, but she's done some Girl Scout troops. And things
Yeah,
like
we
that.
laugh and we do the itsy bitsy spider. Lined up the water spout. What age group do you like the best with the kids?
I like all the exercises. They enjoy lion laughter, all the animal laughter, lion, penguin, monkeys, chicken. They all like singing song, like, you know,
Of animal laughter, definitely.
animal laughter and the fruit laughter, fruit salad laughter.
Uh-huh.
Mango, fruit, coconut water, like everything like that.
We have penguin races where we see who's going to win.
They could not hear me.
Anyone else have a question?
I do have a question.
Yes.
All right, so what has been your main challenge in the past 11 years, and how did you overcome it as a couple?
Okay.
I guess first, I guess it
Attendance.
would be the variability of attendance.
Attendance. Oh, we
You know.
both said the same thing.
You know, so that, you know, you'll get those days where you get a lot of people, and then you're in the middle of the winter and you're hoping you get 2 people, you know, so just emotionally dealing with that, and you know, you get a little bit discouraged if you only get 2 people. So it's a challenge to keep the motivation going, and when you're not getting a lot of feedback back, you know, working through the slow times is probably a big challenge. You know,
Plus, we bring a lot of things. We always seem to bring a lot of boards and things to do, and we're driving 20 minutes, so it's getting not discouraged would be probably. We keep each other so we're not discouraged. That's the biggest challenge.
And I think probably another challenge has been kind of the disappointment of the yoga studio world. You know, when we started, we kind of were hoping you could, you know, go do laughter at a yoga studio, and it basically the experience where you get 1 or 2 visits and you get some people, and then it doesn't keep going. So just being willing to realize and accept that that's not our market. You know, maybe somebody has managed a way to present themselves in a way that you can keep going to yoga studio. We haven't. So that's an example. You just have to figure out what works for you, what population will work for you, and then just accepting it and focusing on the ones that do work, you know, not trying to fight losing battles for too long a period. So that's, you know, but really, because our environment sets that we don't have to make money, we don't have to really care that if we don't get the people or we don't get enough chances to thing, you know, the only loss to us is emotional. You know, it's not like we don't have to worry about paying the rent. So for us, that hasn't been a problem, but I can certainly imagine for other people where money's tight and, you know, So it's really a question of, as I say, you've got to make laughter yoga fit within your life. That you can't. So that's going to be a challenge for anyone. Finding that way it fits within your life is going to be kind of a challenge. Maybe in the beginning, teaching was a challenge. That first 4 teaching classes before we got down to kind of all the pieces together and figure the right schedule and everything else. That was a challenge, but that was a fun challenge.
Well, it's nice when you can do it for free, and that laughter can be free. Sebastien and very few people actually make a whole living out of it. They're exceptional people. If we had to make a living out of it, maybe we would. Maybe we would be traveling more. We're not really one to travel that much, but you would have to travel. And maybe we can hear from Sebastien a little bit about his relationship with laughter and being a couple.
I'm very happy to share that. I have one last question, and then I will share with you. But if you want about how laughter works in my own marriage, what's the most inspirational story? The most like a case study, or a shining example of something that made you go, "Wow, this is all of that work, all of that energy has been completely worth it." Like for example, I'm thinking one of the most extreme cases. It wasn't me. It was a friend of mine in New York City he had a laughter club, and the guy came wheeled in with a respirator. So he was on a wheelchair with the IV, and he was with the mask breathing. So why are you here? Well, it turned out that man was dying, and he had a few days to live, and that was his last wish was to be surrounded by people who were laughing.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Wow.
What's your most inspiring, like something that in the past 11 years that inspired the most?
That is amazing. We had a young couple not too long ago who actually, the woman was in tears afterwards, saying that she hasn't stopped to laugh with her husband. They're just trying to pay bills and meet the mortgage, and they were rather young, no kids. And she said that she's going to make sure that doesn't happen. She's going to change their whole life. And people would cry. Other people were crying because it was just very touching. It's pretty often that we get somebody to say, "I'm going to remember to laugh now that I haven't laughed in so long, and now I'm going to remember to laugh." We have our core group of people who have been with us for many years, but it's those new people that come that always seem to touch somebody. We love when new people come because it's always somebody so amazed that they can laugh like a child without jokes, comedy, or humor. But it's the frustration that you might not see them again for a couple of months. Life gets in the way. We've had somebody come back after 4 years even. They just said, it was on my calendar and I just forgot to come back. So, you have to make this a priority. It's on our calendar. We've never missed anything. And I think you have to make it a priority to laugh every day also.
Yeah, I like the stories of people who come in who might have a son with mental issues, basically stories of people whose personal lives are filled with stress, filled with problems.
We get a lot of
and
those.
have gone for years without a break from that stress. And it's very rewarding to have them come in and just laugh for an hour and tell you their problems at home and how you give them a break from it. And that's very rewarding for me.
When you run a group, people think that you know the answer to everything. So we have stayed after and listened to many woes of people. And we're not counselors, but we're good listeners, I guess. And I think we've changed lives. Over the years, certainly we've changed lives. And we just have to realize that it's not for everybody. This practice would have 1,000 people on this otherwise, because this did go out to a lot of people. I know we're in troubled times, but even a regular laughter club, it seems like everybody gets the same 8 to 10 people just talking. You talk to other people with laughter clubs, and you just have to realize and accept that that's just how it is. People just feel self-conscious or whatever reason.
So we need more laughter clubs, all with 10 people in it.
Or laughter wellness.
Or laughter wellness.
Either one.
It's the practice. So, I mean, briefly on my end, so I'm 50, I'm remarried. This is my second marriage. My wife is a clown, as you met her, so you were here at the beginning. She's a hospital clown. And so she had been a hospital clown for, like 10 years before we met. And so our connection is through laughter. So she was already a master of improv. She's an actor. So she's done her entire career in the arts. The main thing is done for us is so the first thing is I'm very strong on not moving away, not to laugh, not laughing to move away from, not to forget the pain, the sadness, but rather to embrace how we feel and then transcend it. Choose to laugh. So it's all about the attitude. So she came to a workshop of mine at the beginning. This was in Ecuador in South America, and she was only coming for a couple of days because she was busy. She was coming back from a conference, she was doing some stuff, and then got to realize that. That's exactly what she'd been doing. She'd been covering up her own first divorce, the own famous pain she had experienced in her life. And she could embrace the pain and still choose to laugh, as opposed to I think you cannot cover up stress, pain, sadness with joy or laughter. It's like cleaning up your house and then putting all of the trash under the carpet. It's not a long-term solution. Sooner or later, you have to deal with whatever emotions that you felt in the first place. So for us, this idea of intentional laughter has completely transformed my marriage in the following fashion. I'm perfect, she's perfect. But now, I have an evil twin. And she has an evil twin. And so whenever we get upset, then it's our evil twins. We laugh about our evil twins and how our evil twins are being annoying to each other who push our buttons. We laugh every day. Not as a structured practice, but we play every day. We play a lot. So it's brought about the creativity. It's the main shift has been through the attitude. So Linda, and so we've been talking about laughter yoga and laughter wellness. It's like the name of the modality doesn't really matter. This is how you facilitate a group intervention. Sooner than later, it bleeds into your everyday life and then changes the attitude, changes your perspective, and that's where the real change. This is where the real shift happens. So yeah, we laugh every day. So, I mean, every single day, because we play. So the laughter has become spontaneous. So we don't have a structured practice. It's more a commitment to focusing on the best in each of us. When she pushes my button, and whenever I happen to push, when her evil twin pushes the buttons of my evil twin, then we talk about them. But there's always that laughter is where the laughter somehow comes back, or that programming, because this is very profoundly ingrained in us. It comes back to that commitment. What do we really want? And we want the best. So I know she knows I'm on her team. I know she's on my team. So she's been very strong lately. What has helped us a lot, she came across a course in miracle a few years ago. So she's been following. I haven't read the book yet, neither has she, but we've been following the commentaries of a guy she likes a lot. And so that some of the book, I mean, what the book says doesn't really matter, but some of the core teaching, like the world is not a hostile place. So whenever we or I or she feels something unpleasant, it's this constant reminder, Holy Spirit, dear God, help me see things the way you see it. This is not mine. Let me send this back to send these emotions back to the sender with everything attached. Our commitment to staying. If it doesn't feel good, it doesn't belong to me. And so the laughter, the smiling, then somehow we're going to play with this. I love improv. She loves improv. She happens to be a trained master teacher of improv. She trained teams on TV. So with a lot of word games, it's become spontaneous. Bit of blessing. So the beginning, the laughter at the beginning was a practice to get us in gear, and once we got the engine going, then it hasn't stopped.
Do you use a lot of gibberish? We seem to do the like a lot. We do that to argue.
No, we haven't done some. I mean, again, occasionally we never argue. I mean, so typically, because again, this is specific to us. We've been married for 5 years now. We may have had like 2 or 3 more deeper arguments, and because of our respective profiles, those were silent. So that was really bad. Meaning I shut up, I shut down, and she shuts down. So we've never argued out loud. Gibberish on occasion, it's more about this. Your evil twin sister, she's really annoying my evil twin brother. And I know he's annoying, or vice versa. So it's kind of distanciating ourselves. Because there's nothing there's no finger pointing at her, and there's no finger pointing from her at me. It's more those guys. Now, those guys sometimes are really annoying.
A good technique.
Yeah, very good.
I did want to kind of answer a question that came to us offline, or try to as best I could, which is people were asking, what do I do if my partner has no interest in laughter yoga? And it's only a certain percentage of the men want to get into it, and you may not be, or the woman. So you may be with someone. So my first, you have to accept what they're interested in. And the other thing is I would just, as a suggestion of something to try, is can you get that partner not interested in laughter yoga, but interested in helping you? If you come to him once and I'm having trouble doing laughter yoga, and if you could do this thing for me, it would help me a lot. And you may get more support, just support, as opposed to trying to say, let's get him interested in laughter yoga. Let's get him to support me. And if he does that, maybe he'll get more opportunities to actually try to do laughter yoga or experience laughter yoga. Maybe he will get interested. But if he never does, at least you'll get that support, which we all need.
Well, good for you, Bill, for remembering that question. I mean, because we did get that. And you remembered it, so yay! But that's a very good answer also. So we have to have, I have much gratitude that Bill was always on board from day one, from when we were introduced to laughter yoga, and then we went to all our different things, and we've been to all different conferences. And Sebastien, when he had the American School of Laughter Yoga, we were at all those conferences. We just are very, very lucky. That's why we're going to do Namaste laughter and just go And I would like to make a scripture of laughter for the world, and just use our little index, our little trigger thing here, and just go. And we need laughter, please.
If I may add, having me at your house, Linda. Your house is, you've mentioned briefly, you've got reminders everywhere. Laugh, happy, smile. That's been a very positive. So we've got, on my head, we don't have, I'm not so much into this, but we've got pictures everywhere. So we've both selected happy pictures, which we printed. So pictures with which we have an emotional connection. And so we've got pictures of us doing stuff pretty much all over the house. And that's a cool, really valuable reminder. Really cool.
Yes, and on the refrigerator, we have our certificates on the wall, and yes, we do live it, and I think that's a big help. I mean, we even have something over the bed there. It's just let's laugh today.
my wife last year did so she printed I think like maybe 15 different pictures of for each year of our marriage. Again, the one we both had the most, so they're on the wall in the bedroom. So we see them every day. So those are constant reminders. It's easy to get. Life will always. Life tends to, at least on our end, try to push us outside of the main path because of stresses and negativity and ambient stuff, try to derail us. And so those cues are always constant reminders. So it's not about the technique; it's about the commitment, the lifestyle. that comes with it. That choosing not so much to laugh, but to smile, to connect with the best of what we have at that point in time, because we can.
So what can we do with the next, whatever the way in such uncertainty here? I don't even want to say the next couple of weeks, the next few months. What can we do? Well, I don't, we're just together, us, we can only do so much on Zoom. What can we do to help people? Sebastian had suggested to call assisted living homes.
Yeah, the answer is discipline and action. So for self, it's discipline to focus, to make a list. May I?
Sure.
Okay, it's to flip it. FLIPIT, flip it as an acronym. F stands for focusing. What do you want to focus on? So have the discipline to focus on what you want to focus on. What inspires you? So that makes sense. This is making a list. And again, we're back with this idea of choosing, of intention, is acting on our God's given gift of free will. So we don't have to respond to the environment, because most likely it won't be very friendly, but we can proactively choose to focus on what we want. So F is focus. L stands for language. It's about being very careful of the kind of language you use. A problem is not a challenge, is not an opportunity, is not a blessing, but yet it is at the same time. It's a viewpoint. So being careful as to what kind of language you use. One, hopefully it will help you move toward what you want as opposed to what you don't want. That ties us to the locus of control, which is life happening to me or for me? What if this crisis, this virus was a blessing? I'm not saying it is, but what if it was? Then how could it be a blessing? The questions you ask yourself will dictate your experience, your perception of life, and therefore your experience of life. That then leads us to the I. I are ideas. Make a list and then act on one. So a great exercise is every day aim to write 20 ideas of things you could do to feel better. That makes you feel good, that you like. Every day. The first day will be easy, the second day not so much. By a week, you can spend an hour looking for 20 new ideas. The idea also there is that the answers are already inside, not outside. It's about listening. But the inner voice will never yell, will never shout. So make a list and act upon that. P, that's the 7 Ps or the 8 Ps, depends on how you feel. P stands for practice. Be patient, persevere. Hey, make a plan, have some priorities, because doing more of what you shouldn't be doing is a waste of time. So have a plan, make some priorities, act on it, practice, be patient, persevere, have some passions. Sorry, have some passion. I think I'm missing one. Practice, patient, perseverance, plan, priority. Anyway, get the idea. Flip, and then EI, the next it is it. So I stands for, so first of all, I stands for intention. What is your intention? Is your intention to be afraid, or is your intention to feel better? Because what we really want is what we do, not what we say we want. God, the divine, only knows one word, which is yes. The world of infinite, unlimited love knows no absolute. And therefore, since at the end of the day, it's a belief I have, and therefore, since it's my belief, I am right. All there is we are one, and there's only love. But within all of us are one, and there's only love. Exists duality. But God lives in a non-dual world, so therefore, God, the divine, can only say yes. So if I want to be afraid, then yes, here it is, plenty of that, abundance. If I want to feel good, yes, here it is, plenty of that, because the world of relativity is a world of limitation, but the absolute has no limitation. So be clear on your intention. And the T stands for trust. Once you've done the best you could, if you are going to die tomorrow, if I'm going to die in 5 seconds, that's in 5 seconds. I don't need to suffer twice. It will come fast enough. So it's about being always making an effort to stay in present moment awareness. Stay here. What can I do here now? My partner, the evil twin of my wife partner is annoying me. Well, do I want to connect with the anger, or do I want to connect with the best? So we talk a lot. Actually, I forgot to mention that we communicate a lot. When I feel annoyed, we sit down and say we need to talk. And we've made this commitment to never go to bed until with resentment. So if I've done something, if she's done something, we sit down and we talk until we have closure. She has, I have. Otherwise, we don't go to bed. So it can be annoying sometimes. It takes a bit of time. Women like to talk sometimes, sorry to say.
Be up all night.
So flip it, and it is it. Nerve impulses are just nerve impulses. So what happens around us inherently means nothing. Sensations become emotions when they meet the neocortex, our conscious mind. But a nerve impulse is just a nerve impulse. Pain is not pain. Is just pain is an idea. Tension is an experience. And so this idea, this practice of conscious intentional laughter is about shifting, reframing everything. So that's the solution. Discipline and action. Action is do something. Don't say crises are times for action, not for despair. So what can I do? Well, that's me. What can you do? And that's you, and do that. I would suggest give what you want to receive. It's a good time to reach out to libraries because they've got their programs are closed and they have online. They can push. They've got databases. Your local government. So all of the at-risk groups, the support groups, the cancer, the kids, all of the world of mental health. I mean, you've got gazillions of people who are shut down, the handicapped, that dialysis. Talk about people who are really stuck because they have to go to their centers every other day, otherwise they die. So there's a lot of people who are experiencing stress and tension. Reach out, offer, propose, or not. But it's about doing something as opposed to sitting at home passively receiving a whole stream of constant venom, verbal trash. Not with me. Would be my suggestions. We're still over time. Anybody else would like to share something? Or Bill and Hilda, do you want to add something?
I'm just curious if people are laughter wellness people, or I know we have, from what people wrote there, we had one of our students, are people laughter leaders? Can people just quickly say?
Yeah, Roma. Let's start with Roma. Where we've got this delightful smile, and I think it's. I don't know who's Ro and who's Ma, but we've got a. Yes.
And that's Luis. No, we heard about this through Beat the Odds, and so we wanted to check it out.
Oh, what's Beat the Odds?
It's a cancer survivorship program.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh, okay, nice. We'll check out Laughter Wellness and Laughter Yoga.
Okay.
Will do.
I'm a laughter yoga leader and teacher in Chicagoland.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you for presenting.
And yes.
I'm in the Buffalo, New York area, and I came through the World Laughter Tour in 2006, and then in 2012 moved over to Laughter Yoga, Dr. Madan, and I'm also hanging out with Sebastien a little bit, so we're going to see where that goes down the road. So.
Oh,
All
awesome.
good.
It's good to get information from everybody. We know the World Laughter Tour. Wonderful. And then we also have two more, Lincoln. It says. Oh.
Yeah, no, Lincoln doesn't seem to. And we have our surgeon on staff surgeon, Dr. Shah.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Awesome.
Thank you all for joining us.
Thank you for joining us. Again, we have quite a few people have signed up and will watch this video in replay because it's getting a little late on the East Coast.
We have more people who signed up. Yay!
Yeah, we have. Yeah. Quite a few more. I would suggest maybe. So, any last questions for Bill and Linda before we wrap up? Because now is your chance. So check out the website. So can you remind us of your website again? So it's Let's Laugh Today.
www.letslaughtoday.com. You can email us through there, or the email is billandlinda@letslaughtoday.com.
On Facebook?
Full newsletter too that's free online, and I would like to leave everyone with a laugh, certainly.
But Facebook, where are you on Facebook or social media?
Facebook, it's Let's Laugh Today Laughter Club. and we put a lot on there. Yes, don't friend me. Friend the Let's Laugh Today Laughter Club, and that's where we have the laughter stuff. Otherwise, you'll see pictures of my grandson. Instead, people seem to Facebook me, but you want to know what's going on with laughter, because we will be getting our own Zoom calls. So thank you, Sebastien, for showing us how to do Zoom.
Yep.
So let's do something that Sebastien taught us years ago, and that's get all the negativity out of our right ear and laugh. And of course, and we just throw that away. And Sebastien taught us many things, but he taught us how you really have sparkly eyes and really have to laugh with your eyes, and really laugh with laughter strings, East Coast to West Coast strings, and get that big smile to burst. We're going back to Sebastien's basics here. You really have to have those pretty, sparkly eyes. And then we have our chant, which we love, which is ho, ho, ha, ha, ha.
Ho, ho, ha, ha, ha.
Everyone stay healthy. Give yourselves a 2 thumbs up for being here, and please stay healthy.
Thank you. So as a next step, so those of you who are new, I will send you the link to this video, the replay for this video within 24 hours. It will be online. You can really watch it as long as you want. And I will also remind you of Linda's and Bill's Facebook page and website. Feel free to also hang out on the web, either have a check out the website and look at the Facebook group of the Laughter Online University. It's not a big community. The Laughter community is not a big one. It's very diverse. It's fairly small, but it's very active. So you have people who every day, so a lot of people like Dr. Shah who volunteer, who've made Laughter their retirement project, or who just love and laugh once a day or facilitate some groups. So you have groups that meet on the phone every day and have been doing so for almost 10 years now, who meet online, different styles, different teachers, but the intention is the same behind, which is to shift energies up. I will include that link. And on these good words, thank you very much. Good night, and be healthy and well. And
Thank you.
all right. Thank you. Bye for now.
Thank you for having us, Sebastien.
Thank you, Linda. Thank you, Bill. Much appreciated. It was outstanding. Hands forward. Just say yeah. Thank you, Bill. Thank you, Linda. You can lift one arm up. Grab your elbow. Bend the arm, and then you give yourself a pat on the back. You go, yeah.
And the other side, because
on the side. Very good. Awesome. Thank you. Good night. Bye for now.
Thank you.